Hello and welcome to Taylor Talks Comics. Today we're going to go over Chris Samnee's Black Widow Artist Edition from IDW. Stay tuned. And we're back. So real quick, if you're watching this on the Taylor Talks Comics YouTube channel or the Organic Priced Books YouTube channel, no matter where you're watching this, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below with all your thoughts while you're watching this. I'd really appreciate that. I reply to all comments, no matter which channel it is on. And the reason why this is appearing on both channels is because this is sponsored by Organic Priced Books. They sent me this out to do a review of this book. And you can do all your shopping for all your awesome comics and graphic novels over at organicpricedbooks.com. You can use my promo code TaylorTalksComics, all one word, to save $2 off of shipping, and then there's a promo code to save 5% off shipping. But that all that information is down below in the description of this video. Today I want to jump right in because this is an awesome book. It's a modern artist edition, which we don't always get, so it's really cool, and I'm excited that this was put out by IDW. And the future of the artist edition over at IDW is seems like in flux, because Scott Dunbier, the gentleman that put this one together and put it together all of the IDW Artist Edition to date, has left and made his own company called Act 4 Publishing, to where he's doing some artist editions and stuff over there. So looking forward to the future of that. IDW does still have some artist edition coming out in the future in catalogs and solicits and whatnot. So it's not like a dead thing over there. All of those were, I think, worked on by Scott to this point. No word on if they're working on anymore in the future. I'm hoping they reprint a lot of the ones that I've missed out on personally, because they have a bunch of them that are out of print at the moment. But regardless, today we're talking about Chris Samnee's Black Widow Artist Edition. Like I said, this is one of the few modern ones we have. They really tend to err on the side of classic comics, but this one, Chris Samnee's artwork does have kind of like the thick line, the Silver Age line to it that harkens back to that era, so it fits right in line with the comics that I love. But yeah, let's go and dive in real quickly. If you're not familiar with the artist edition, I've covered a lot of these on my channel. I have a playlist on my channel of all the videos I've done for this format, but these are massive. These are done in the same size paper that the artists work on. I believe this one's 11 by 17 paper that Chris Samnee worked on. That's traditionally what most comic artists use today, especially with the big two companies. And just give you a size comparison here. I'll turn this sideways to get it all on the camera. But this is your typical Marvel Omnibus. This is ROM Volume 2. I'll be doing an overview of this too. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe so you don't miss out on that overview. But you can see that it's much bigger than, wider than, and taller than. It's a massive book. They all are. But the reason for that, like I said, it's done true to size. So some artist editions do come in different sizes if the artist works on different paper, but like I said, most modern artists, especially after, I'd say like 1970s on, worked on 11 by 17. Some artists work on different sizes and whatnot. But the reason for the book being printed that is it's done as if you had all the pages from Chris Samnee's Black Widow that he did with Mark Waid and bound them together and put them into a book. That's what we're looking at. So let me open it up, because you have these great end papers. The end sheets are always a blown up image of a panel or whatnot, and I love it because you can see all of the marker strokes in there that are normally blackened out when you see the final printed page. You can see like even X is there where he's probably where Chris Samnee is probably indicating to Matt Hollingsworth, which I think was the colorist, on what to do with those things. And the end papers are usually different on both sides. So let me see what the back end papers look like real fast. Yep. We get a blown up image of Black Widow right there. Sorry for shaking the camera. And then we open it up to the end papers. Oh, wait, no, sorry, skipped a page. See a little Black Widow spider there. Title page right here. Then here we see the penciled sketch of Chris Samnee for the Black Widow character in this pose, and we get to see the final inked image right there. And you get something in the indicia here. Scott Dunbier is the editor. Nicholas Nino is the editorial assistant. And Randall Dahlk is the designer of this book. Which he did a great job too. I should show off the spine and stuff too, right? So you can see this is pretty thick as well. Here's the spine. This is Black Widow right there. Marvel, Chris Samnee's Black Widow Artist Edition, IDW. And then on the back is like this. I'm not sure when this was done. It looks like a little postcard image maybe he did for somebody. But yeah, Waid, Samnee, Wilson, Karamunga. Or Matt Wilson? Is that the colorist then? Actually, I could have been wrong. You get Samnee's signature there, and old Black Widow up on top. It's a really cool design by Randall Dahlk. Let me get back to the... get an introduction here by Mark Waid. He wrote this in 2023, so I just wrote this last year. Talking about this project and how much fun it was. I just recently reread this run on the Marvel Unlimited app. And sometimes Marvel Unlimited has the letters pages and stuff in the back, and they did for this series. So it's kind of fun to read Mark Waid and Chris Samnee's thoughts as the series is progressing. And then a lot of that is reflected in here, but then you get kind of the after the it's all said and done years later, reflecting on the series by Mark Waid. Here's a table of contents. So not all artist editions collect every single page of an issue. Some are like the Bill Sienkiewicz one was just kind of a collection of a bunch of different original art pages by him. I think it did include most of the pages from Elektra Assassin #1 now that I think about it. Some of them, though, they don't have all the original art pages. I always kind of often joke that Scott Dunbier is like the Indiana Jones of original comic book art. He's always searching for and trying to find the original art for these pages to preserve them from time, which is what a lot of the importance of this project is. These are cool books for artists, for comic book artists to look at. They're cool books for fans to see kind of behind the scenes of it. But I think most importantly, projects like this help preserve comic book history. And that's what I really appreciated by it. So Scott Dunbier, through his Indiana Jones process of exploring for the original art of these pages, is doing just that, preserving comic book history. So like I said, not all artist editions collect every single page, but this does. This collects every single page from the first 6 issues of that run. So ostensibly, there could be a volume 2 artist edition that collects issues 7 through 12 to complete the series, which would be really, really cool. But yeah, so that's what this table of contents is showing you. About this edition, Chris Samnee's Black Widow Artist Edition is part of an ongoing series, one dedicated to showcasing extraordinary artists in a format as special as their work deserves. So you start off, and here's the front cover for issue #1. You can see the question mark up here. Chris Samnee wasn't quite sure if this would be the cover, but I don't know how you get a cooler cover than this. So one cool thing about these artist editions also is that they are scanned in full color. Now you might be asking yourself, if you're not familiar, why the heck do they do that if it's black and white? Mostly because there's no coloring in here. It's all the inks and stuff. They do that because they want the full scan of what it looks like. Some artists will use blue line pencil before they ink it. Some will use some whiteout and things that kind of will work over the art a little bit. Some, you won't see that here because this is a modern run where none of the pages have really aged or had time to age. But on the older artist editions, you'll see some original art pages that Scott found that someone might have had, maybe didn't store it properly or whatnot, so the pages are kind of yellowed. And you get kind of that aspect to it as well. I'll point out any notices of why the full color process was important here. But this run, if you haven't read it, is absolutely amazing. And oh my gosh, I just love this. The Helicarrier 2-page spread. And I just read, like I said, I just reread this digitally, and this is not as impressive reading it digitally as it is on this artist edition page. Like having it full color scan massively on this. Even this video you're watching right now, it's not going to show how impressive this image is, this 2-page spread is, as I'm looking at it in the moment. And it's such an amazing, like, Jack Kirby type thing, where you have, like, this, it's not exactly one splash page, because Jack Kirby would do the thing where you have, like, one splash page image to start off the comic, and you go to the 2-page spread page turn. But it is kind of in that same kind of theory or idea. You see Black Widow's jumping out of this window, And then you see her right here, this little image of her jumping out of the helicarrier. In the helicarrier with an explosion right there. Such a cool image. And then you're seeing her, you can see how far she has to fall, which is the next scene, when she's falling through the air. And all the SHIELD agents are like, what the heck is she doing? Why'd she jump out? She's falling through the air. And you see this flying car, you see a jetpack involved, all this cool stuff that she's trying to break her fall, trying to not die. Which this run, if you've not read it, should be read by everybody. It should be, I don't know why Marvel hasn't done like a gallery edition, like a real oversized, massive edition for this, because it's only 12 issues, so it'd be really, primed for that format. The Marvel Gallery Edition is kind of their answer to DC's Absolute Edition, where they show off a mini or maxi series and really oversized artwork. But it is just like a balls to the wall, high octane, action-packed series by Mark Waid and Chris Samnee. And Mark Waid, who is an incredible comic book writer, he's one of my favorite superhero writers ever, knows how to play to his artists. And he just takes a step back, and throughout this series, and especially in these action scenes, to let Chris Samnee just do his thing. And that's what's impressive about watching this, or looking at these scenes from Chris Samnee, because this is a big car chase, which any artist will tell you, drawing cars, period, in a comic book is hard. But doing a car chase scene is even harder, and I always appreciate a good car chase scene in comics. It's one of my favorite scenes in like one of the early TMNT Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. I think it's issue 3 or 4, or maybe issue 2. It's one of those early issues where there's a big car chase scene throughout the city. And ever since I read that, I've really appreciated the car chase. And you see that here with all these SHIELD agents trying to catch Black Widow on her motorcycle. Motorcycles are another cool thing I love to see in comics too. Harking even back to like Akira with all the motorcycle scenes there. Even Fist of the North Star, that's a lot of great motorcycle scenes. And then finally, Black Widow crashes. And then this, you have what is this, like a 16-panel grid here that Chris Samnee is working with. It reminds me of like the classic Jack Kirby 9-panel grids he would do sometimes for fight scenes. And you just get all this action choreography here by Chris Samnee, done amazingly. And like I said, Chris Samnee's style has like a really thick ink line that really harkens back to the days of like the Silver Age comics. Here's the in splash page scene for that first issue. And then we move on to issue 2. We get a chapter break here. And then the first cover of issue 2, you get all this voided out black inking here. Great use of that. But yeah, it reminds me of maybe like Mike Allred is another great modern artist that I feel like has the thick black ink line with the very clean line that kind of harkens back to the Silver Age. So even though this is a modern run, and most of the artist editions we see are like silver or Bronze Age comics, this harkens right back to it. I will say that this does not include any of the lettering on it, any of the speech bubbles or talking word balloons. I forget what the proper term is that comic book people, I know they're stingy about which word to use, but the lettering, you don't see any of the lettering on the pages. I assume that's done because the lettering was all done digitally. So these are just the original art pages. You don't see that on here. I do kind of wish, because some of these old artist editions have the lettering on top of it, and that's because they did it right on the artboard. But I kind of wish they digitally put the lettering in here. I know it would have taken a little bit away from the artwork because it would cover up some of the art here. But well, hold on a second. Say that word balloon there. Have a look-see. You can kind of see it on there. Is that showing up on camera at all? I guess there's like a shadow there. Let me see if I can. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit of word balloon there. I wonder if Chris Samnee wrote that in there as like an idea or something. I wish they would have gone back in post and digitally put the lettering on there so you can still read this book as a reading experience. And I know the point of the artist edition is to show off the art. Here's another great cover by Chris Samnee. This is like attention to design, like graphic design is amazing. But so I know the point is to like really show off the art and whatnot, but I do like having these artist editions and be able to read them as a reading experience. And the fact that you have all 6 full issues worth of art pages would have been kind of cool to read it in this facet, but you know, those are small gripes. Otherwise, this is an amazing book. Chris Samnee, like, really, I mean, I feel like this, he had previously done the Daredevil series with Mark Waid, and this was kind of like the next thing they worked on together. And the next thing both of them worked on in comics was after this. I think this was like the follow-up to it. But that was kind of between the Daredevil run and this was kind of like this. Those are the series that put Chris Samnee on the map, and he's since gone like to the to Image Comics and Skybound and done Firepower with Robert Kirkman. Was like the next or the most recent series he's worked on, and I believe now he's back with Mark Waid, and I think he's doing a Batman and Robin Year 1 story that comes out next year, which I'm so excited about because, like I said, Mark Waid's one of my favorite comic book writers for superheroes. But Chris Samnee, his artwork, I think is perfect for that Year 1 titling. Obviously, the rich history of Year 1 in DC Comics starts with David Mazzucchelli and Batman Year 1. And I can kind of see David Mazzucchelli being an inspiration for Chris Samnee also. I've never seen an interview with Chris Samnee or anything, so I'd like to know who his inspirations are and stuff. And I'd like to know if Mazzucchelli's on there, because I can kind of see that in here as well. Here's another great cover for issue number 5. But yeah, I think he'll be perfect for that Batman and Robin Year 1. So I'm excited for that as well. And maybe one day we'll see an artist edition for that. It's just like being able to pick up all the different line work and stuff in here. And it's great seeing this in black and white too, because I guess it's Matt Wilson, I think, is the colorist on this. But his coloring was great on the series, but seeing it in black and white, you can really get an appreciation for all the line work by Chris Samnee that might get flooded out here and there by the colors. Again, so many cars, and cars are not easy to draw. Everyone, please, if you're not an artist, go try to redraw this scene and tell me how it goes for you. They're not easy, but Chris Samnee nails it. Like, these cars look so great on these scenes. And it, again, has choreography. Fight choreography is something I talk about a lot in comics. I think there's none better than like Jack Kirby. There's some other ones that are pretty great. Maybe that's a video I should do, like the best fight choreographers in comics. But Chris Samnee would definitely be up there. That was probably my favorite thing about Firepower, to be honest, was, well, Chris Samnee's art in general, but the fight choreography he did. Another great cover with great design. Having all this negative space here. I'm assuming the trade dress is probably up here like normal, but using the silhouette of Black Widow to show off scenery of other characters and whatnot. This would be a great movie poster. Movie posters are a thing that's lost to art. They don't make movie posters like they used to. But if Marvel commissioned Chris Samnee to do MCU movie posters, get out of town, they'd be amazing. But that's another topic for another day. So now we're seeing Tony Stark enter the picture. Obviously, Tony Stark has a rich history with the Black Widow character, dating back to her first appearance. And then here's all the extras. So we're getting cover layouts, used and unused, for the next 5 pages. We have issue 1 layouts. Be able to see the thumbnails of Chris Samnee is pretty amazing. And I like that they did this 4 to a page too. You're not using a bunch of extra paper, which obviously cuts down on the cost of the book itself. But also, that's big enough to see a thumbnail. Like, you don't need to see the thumbnails any bigger than that. And it looks like that's the way Chris Samnee does his thumbnails. It looks, because this looks like it's on 1 page. So I'd be willing to bet that 11 by 17 is what Chris Samnee does for his, he takes this 11 by 17 paper and does the thumbnails 4 to a page. Although that looks like maybe a different paper right there. I don't know. It kind of looks like that's turned sideways and done 2 pages. You know what? I wonder if that's what he does. Someone in the comments let me know. But now that I'm looking at it, it looks like maybe this was scanned smaller, or maybe the page is smaller. But it looks like he might lay them out 2 pages per page. I don't know. I'd be curious. Here's the cover layouts. I can see this one was unused. You can see Black Widow through the different phases of character designs that she's gone throughout the years. You can see even when he does his layouts, Chris Samnee uses the thick pencil line on the outside of his figures and then colors them in where he's going to black it out. There's another cover design that was never used. That's amazing, though. I love the... She's in a sewer, but it's like it looks like almost a maze. Oh, there's the toothpaste spread at the helicarrier. And her jumping out of it. That looks almost exact. Like, that's crazy, too. Like, seeing thumbnails. Sometimes you'll see artist thumbnails and they just look like quick sketches. You can almost barely notice what's even going on. Which is fine. No one's meant to see the thumbnails from an artist, except for, like, the editors and stuff. But Chris Samnee's thumbnails look... I mean, you could read this as the comic. Like, this could be the comic. And it would look better than a lot of other comics on the stands. His thumbnails are that tight. His pencils are that tight, I mean. So you get layout. Is this the entire... I wonder if this is all his layouts. But you do get little notations, too, of what he's thinking about. Probably notes to Mark Waid, or to the colorist, or to the editor, who's looking at these before he goes to pencil out the whole thing. But I don't know if these are layouts for every single page, because that's pretty incredible if they are. I don't think I've seen an artist edition this complete. And again, that's probably because it's more modern. Back in the day, in the Silver and Bronze Age, preserving comic book art wasn't really a practice as much as it is today. So it's great that we have... I hope more modern artists that work pencil and ink on page are doing this for this reason. It is something that's lost when artists work a lot of digital. You don't get some of this cool stuff as an option to preserve in this way. And then that's... Oh, this is promo stuff. So, okay, so the back page right here that we saw on the back of the cover, it's a promo shot image that he kind of worked over, probably to show up in the back of another comic. All of these are different ideas for that. Then here's a biography of Chris Samnee, born in 1979. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Considers a major influence to be Alex Toth, Milton Caniff, David Mazzucchelli, John Romita Sr. I could definitely see Alex Toth in his work too. Alex Toth had a very sparse line about him. He tried to use a minimal amount of lines on a page to convey his message, and he did an amazing job of that. I've had videos on Alex Toth on my channel. Milton Caniff had a great history of Terry and the Pirates and like classic newspaper strips. And John Romita Sr., I showed off his artist edition of his Spider-Man newspaper strips. I have that one I showed off on my channel. But he's famous Spider-Man artist. I mean, he took over after Ditko. Capote in Kansas, I did read that one. That was one of his first major breakthrough. I did read that comic. Russ Manning Award. He did Queen and Country story arc. Thor the Mighty Avenger. Roger Langridge wrote that one. That was a good one. And then Rocketeer Cargo of Doom I've not read, but I do want to. I can see some Dave Stevens in his artwork too. And Daredevil with longtime collaborator Mark Waid. He won the Eisner Award for Best Penciler and Inker in recognition for his artistic efforts on these two titles. And he lives in the Midwest with his wife and 3 daughters. And that's the back-end papers. So, a longer video on this than most artist editions, but it's an amazing book. I can't recommend it enough. Please go, if you're going to buy this, go shop over at Organic Price Books for this artist edition. And you can save $2 off if you use the promo code Taylor Talks Comics, all one word. If you're ordering this and 3 other books on top of that, ordering 4 books or more, you can use the promo code TTC Ship It Together, all one word, TTC Ship It Together, to save 5% off of a larger order, 4 books or more. All that information is down below in the description, as well as where else to follow me on social media. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up the video, all that jazz. Comments down below of your thoughts on Chris Samnee, Mark Waid, Black Widow, Artist Edition in general, all that stuff. I reply to all comments. And on my own personal channel, if you're watching this on Taylor Talks Comics, I'm getting closer and closer to 2,000 subs. So if you can help me with that by you subbing yourself or you sharing this channel on other social media platforms, I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Read more comics.